Is the Airband essential in a mastering chain? I would honestly say yes. It isn't necessarily essential. It's a lovely thing to have though. I use the Vertigo VSE2, which is an incredible rotary EQ, and that has the Airband. And what the Airband basically is, it's a 40 kilohertz kind of frequency that, technically speaking, you aren't necessarily hearing 40 kilohertz, but that shelf that it creates, you are going to hear aspects of it, and it is there, and it's such a good thing to put in. I like I say, I use the VSE2. Is it a VSE2? Yeah. Next door we have the Marg EQ4M, which has a lovely Airband. I wouldn't necessarily say it's essential, but if you can put one in, it's lovely. There's one that's like I think it's called a 1941 EQ. That's got a beautiful Airband on it. That's quite a unique EQ in itself. Now, I love to have this just because what it does is it adds an element to the mastering chain that wouldn't necessarily be there. So having this Airband is just this kind of control to just turn up that top end and really make it sparkle. It gives it some lovely kind of sheen, and that's the best word to explain it, is like sheen and shine and all those lovely kind of words. It gives it this kind of sprinkle on top that makes it a little bit more lively. And like I say, is other EQs, they'll go like the high frequency on the PQ here goes up to 20 kilohertz. That'll go up to 20 kilohertz, whereas the VSE2, that is up to 40 kilohertz. So when we use the VSE2, we can add something that the PQ won't. The PQ will give us a kind of what we can hear, what's in with our perfectly good hearing range. But the VSE2 will just give us that extra little bit that's not necessarily in our hearing range, but is kind of shelved into it, and it will just bring out this sweet sound up top. So to answer your question, it isn't essential, but it's lovely to have. It's really good to have in a mastering chain. For me, it is essential because it gives me that edge over other mastering engineers that can't achieve anything with this Airband, and if you don't have an Airband, if you're up against someone who's got an Airband versus someone that doesn't have an Airband, the problem you've got there is theirs is always going to be like, wow, that sounds really lively up top. It doesn't sound harsh, but it's filled in a frequency that I don't hear in this other track that's mastered without the Airband. And it does make a difference. If I know myself, if I turn that off, if I get to the end of a mastering chain and I switch that in and out, I go, yeah, I can hear that. I can hear this kind of lovely sizzle on the top. So yeah, Airband, I'd highly recommend getting one.